Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm really glad to be here. I'm talking today about... I'm too fast. Rocket is known to go fast. About into the wild, building internet companies in emerging markets. So, quick show of hands. Who knows what Rocket Internet is doing? Just roughly. Wow. Okay. I don't need to explain much then. So, Rocket is an internet builder. And in the last years, we have built some internet companies you might know here in Germany, like Zalando, Westwing, Home24, Eat First, HelloFresh, and others. But what not so many people know is actually we built more companies outside Europe in emerging markets in the last years. Actually, if you look at this map, you see that we are almost all over the place. We keep out of US, but almost the rest of the world we have presence. We counted it, and we have now people on the ground in more than 110 countries worldwide. And they're really exotic countries in this list. If you look, for example, at Foodpanda, they're in countries like Rwanda, or Algeria, Azerbaijan, or Lamudi, even more, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Myanmar, Pakistan, Jumia, all over the world, all over Africa. And my favorite is Everjobs. These are the countries they are currently operating. And I think maybe there's not a single other company in the world that is exactly in this strange combination of countries out there. So we have some experience in building companies out there in really strange places. But you might ask, why? Yeah? Why all the effort of going to Cambodia if you can do it in Berlin or Europe? Let me tell you the reason. It's pretty simple. It's this one here. You know, Amazon, they're now in 13 countries worldwide. We have 196 countries in the world, and after 21 years, they didn't make it further than Mexico. And it took them, they actually launched Mexico two weeks ago. Yeah? It took them 21 years to go from US to Mexico. And you wonder why. I think two reasons. A, it's actually not that easy in some of these countries. But even more, I think we realized there's a huge opportunity lying out there, and just said about 4 years ago, let's try to build an Amazon in, for example, Southeast Asia. So we built a company called Lazada. It's in all these nice places you would typically do your vacation, in Thailand and Philippines and Indonesia. And it turned out to work quite well. So this is, I have to admit, it looks a bit like Amazon. Some people say Rocket is not so, let's say, innovative because we do more proven business models. But I would say, and I try to prove this with this talk, actually Rocket is quite innovative by going into places no one else has tried doing this kind of business before. I mean, just look how beautiful this looks in Thai letters, and it actually works. So these are the numbers of Lazada currently. We reach 55 million page impressions per month. So that's quite big. And as reference, that's like 5 times as big as Spiegel Online, for example, in Germany. And it turns out we were quite good in timing. And one thing we actually didn't even know before, but it was a very good timing, was this smartphone revolution. So right at the time we went into these countries, smartphones became ubiquitous. So if you go now to Indonesia or to Vietnam and look around in the street, everyone has a smartphone. If you look at these numbers, it's quite amazing. For example, Philippines, just in 2010, they jumped from 9% of population being online to 25 in 1 year. So that's just because of smartphones. And suddenly, all these people have a computer in their pocket and are able to become online customers. So without us doing anything, we suddenly had 4 times as much customers. And what's even better, they are first-time customers. They never shopped before online. And if you remember yourself, the place you shop first, you typically are quite loyal with. So you might think, easy, right? We were just lucky, at the right place, at the right time. Everyone could have done that. But it's not quite as easy. So let me tell you some stories from out there. In 2013, I went to Vietnam to help Lazada. And I was looking for a data center to run some servers. So I went to the biggest data center in Ho Chi Minh City, or in Vietnam actually, and that's what I found. That was the air condition, yeah? For the whole data center. And remember, it's a country where it's got 40 degrees outside. That was the cabling. And they unfortunately didn't allow me to take a picture of the guard who was sleeping in front of the open door. So it's not that easy. And you think about maybe why go there with your servers, maybe just rent at AWS in Singapore. But we found out there's actually only 2 cables of internet going into Vietnam, 2 C cables. And while I was there, one of them broke. So that's risky. There was only 1 cable left. So your whole country is without internet if the second one would have broken. And while this broke, our whole page load went up by 3 seconds for everyone in the country. So that's why we had to find a solution in the country. And that was just one of the problems. The second one was when I then came to the office to meet the local team. I tell you, it was quite fun, yeah. It's interesting how they decorate their screens. They have little, plush toys in really different working style. But I must say, I'm not so proud about the working conditions. It was just very dense, loud, crowded, hot. We did have an air condition, but it didn't work quite well. So in some places, people worked all day in blankets, covered, because it was so cold. And a bit further, people were literally sweating all day, because it was just 40 degrees outside. So quite, but if you ask the people what was their biggest problem, they actually said, no, the temperature is fine, but please, we don't have internet. So I said, that's a problem. 300 people in an office on the 1 megabit line. Yeah. So I went to the biggest telecom in Ho Chi Minh City and said, we need internet. Give me the best you have. Said, it's not so easy. But if you're nice, we give you what IBM gets, 10 megabit. If you pay €4,000 a month. So yeah, we got that. The guy installed the line up there, and my team loved me for that. So that was the second problem. But then also just working with a team was a challenge, because actually a lot of developers came from outsourcing companies in Vietnam. They never had heard of Scrum, let alone continuous delivery. And we had to train them the most basic things, like how to use GitHub or and Jira and so on. So, but that was not so hard. The harder part was really that we have a complete different management style here. I mean, it's pretty clear. But in the end, what we do or like to do at Rocket, give a lot of responsibility to engineers. Yeah, we say you solve the problem end to end. While there, the guys told me in my last job, my manager told me by the hour what to do. And if he wasn't around, I stopped working. Yeah? So it was really like, and I saw people falling asleep because no one told them what to do at their desk. So what did we do? I think the only way to solve that was to bring in some experienced people from Europe and Russia. So we got all the lead developers over there. We sold them, get on this nice adventure in Vietnam. And they train these people. And you might ask, is it worth it? Why not just build the whole thing here in Berlin? I think it's really worth it. Why? Because I noticed, smart people are distributed equally around the globe. Yeah? It's not that here in Berlin there are more smart people than in Ho Chi Minh City, but the difference is here a lot of startup companies. We were actually at some point soon the top tech employee in Ho Chi Minh City, and that's a 10 million city. So we could really pick the best people, and they were quite loyal because we created a great learning environment for them. And about the expats, they also liked it. I mean, you see it on these pictures. They made new friends, good food. It's a different community if you're all out there in the wild together. Yeah. So I think this is just one example of problems you need to solve out there. And if we have more time, I could give you like a whole range of other problems we had to solve. First of all, the payment mess. Yeah, there are so many payment methods in the world. You would think here, everyone uses a credit card out there, but in all those countries, no one has a credit card. They don't even have a debit card. They don't have anything. So we had to figure out how to do e-commerce with cash. So that works. Yeah, most of our e-commerce in Southeast Asia is just being paid with cash. But then you have the logistics mess. You see postal services in Vietnam, they lose packets all the time. It's a normal thing. Packets just get lost, and they tell you sorry. It's gone. We can't find it. So not a good customer experience. What did we do? We started building our own delivery fleet in Africa, in India, Southeast Asia. Just said, okay, let's rent some motorbikes and deliver ourselves. Then we can guarantee that the package arrives. And in one country, we are now up to 80% of delivery and offer that to other companies also. So we actually built our own little DHL there. It's a workaround, but we needed to do that. The next hell was accounting. In Vietnam, it's really funny, sorry. You need to put a special invoice into every packet. So this invoice has to be printed 3 times on special paper with a special printer, have a special stamp, and you need, and that's no kidding, a certified accountant to sign it. So in our warehouse, we had these accountants all day just signing invoices, and they needed to be certified for that. That's how you do e-commerce in Vietnam. So I could tell you more stories if we had time, but in the end, you have a maze of problems in these countries. There are legal things there, and you have to find your way out through this maze. It's a lot of effort, and it's not easy, but it's kind of fun, yeah? And there's a reward if you find out of this maze. The main reward is, by solving these problems, you created a unique advantage over other competitors. There's a reason why others don't go into these countries, why Amazon stays out, because it's so complex. But once you master the complexity, you have less competition than in a place like Germany, and less competition, higher margins, more money, and better business. And in the end, it's not about doing this, but what's most rewarding is then when we saw actually this is picking up. Yeah, media starts talking about it, and they also pick on to the stories. We are doing Africa Internet. We are really one of the first doing e-commerce in Africa. Later, when I was in Bangkok, I saw all these drivers in the streets from Foodpanda and Zalora. So that's nice. And then your warehouses start growing. It was our first warehouse in Vietnam. That's the second, looks already quite nice and organized. And then the third, that's this whole building here, and 3 of them were just Vietnam. And then if you go to Russia, we already have like 4 floors in the warehouse. If you go to Dafiti in Sao Paulo, this is quite serious e-commerce already. And that started 5 years ago. So now they can really are market leaders in their area. And that's fun to watch things grow. But I think even more important, and then one thing is, of course, we got better offices, because I showed these terrible pictures now. Finally, Lazada has a nice tech hub, looks almost like Berlin. That's Vietnam, yeah? So we could also offer the guys really great working conditions. But even more than office, I mean, all that you can get here in Berlin. What I've personally found most rewarding is to see what kind of change we could do in the ecosystem. So we do a marketplace model. So we basically enable little sellers to start selling on our online platform. So last time I visited one of them. Let me share the experience of visiting. His name was Tao. So Tao lives in this nice neighborhood. I must say his office and home is a bit disorganized. Then he shows you his warehouse. It's even less organized. So I got a bit skeptical. Then he showed me his mother. Where's his mother? Yeah. The mother was packing the packages. The sister was printing the invoices. And that's the Tao there, the business owner. So I was a bit skeptical. If we rely all our global expansion IPO on this guy. But then he started showing me a bit around, and he explained me what his top-selling product is. So that's this, a bit bad picture, but it's a cat fur cutter. So, yeah, that's his top seller. Apparently in Thailand, people need this stuff. So I would say Lazada would have never figured out we need to sell cat fur cutters. But even better, he was exclusive supplier. Yeah, he knew the supplier. He had products no one else had. He knew the pricing. He was telling me he's always watching the competition and how he updates prices every day. And then he actually had this 3 screens set up to manage his orders, and he was completely into it. And I found out he does 200 to 300 orders every day on this platform. So that's a lot. If you add it up, if you have thousands of them, that's hundreds of thousands of orders you can make. because they are so smart. And what I found very rewarding is just to see that they could never be an online seller in these countries. It's just too hard with delivery problems, payment problems, legal problems. It's not so easy, but we built a platform to help them and basically create this whole ecosystem of online e-commerce in these countries. So, but then to be absolutely honest, why stay in this cold Berlin when you can live right next to Saigon River? Why spend your weekends in Brandenburg if you can do that in Laos? And also you can make some nice new friends over there. So I would say if you're interested in working in Vietnam or other places around the world, let me know. If we have a minute for asking 2 questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you very much.
Hi, thanks a lot. Impressive numbers. Do you have the number of how much more people in those countries earn because of Rocket compared to how much more Rocket earns because it's in those countries?
It's a tricky question. Having employees in Vietnam is of course cheap. Yeah? When I started there, I was amazed that a developer earns like $500 a month, what a developer probably earns a day here. With bringing a lot of knowledge and smart people over there, I think we enable them to do more business and maybe do their own startup one day. So I think it's about, like we learn from Silicon Valley, they learn from us. It's giving and taking, I think. Yeah? Please.
Are you now starting to see some of the big American players come into those spaces? And
yes.
Is the distance that you've created, that gap sufficiently large that playing catch-up is going to be quite an extensive game for them?
I hope so. There is, of course, Amazon and Taobao, who are great companies, and Rakuten, but we are market leaders in all countries in Southeast Asia. We are market leader in fashion in India, market leader in Brazil, in Russia. So I think often the one who's first has a big advantage, so we hope that's enough.
Hi. When you first go into these new countries, where do you start to get to know the cultural demands for things like customer service and logistics and things like that?
So you would think we do a lot of research, which is actually not true. Yeah, we call it internally, or Amazon call it bias for action. If you spend too much time just thinking, how to do it right, this time is better spent on just trying things out. We send, young, really energetic people over who want to have a good experience in Indonesia or in Thailand or in Vietnam, and then let them figure it out by just hiring people, starting to sell stuff. So just give you one example, to be really fast. In the beginning, we didn't have a lot of inventory, but you can buy on the streets. So we had an online company. Then if someone ordered, we let someone run into the mall, buy the camera, and pack it and send it out, just to get started and to find out what people actually are interested in before spending months and months of finding suppliers. One last, maybe? Anyone? Okay. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Christian.